The compliment.
Like in 3, 2, go ahead.
Good morning, Kathryn.
Good morning, Tara.
I have a joke for Sam this morning.
Oh dear. Okay.
And Sam, ask Sam, why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
Okay, I'm gonna ask him. I think I know the answer,
Okay.
but I can't remember it.
She keeps running away from the ball.
That's really terrible.
That's right. That's right.
That's like terrible.
Yep. I might have actually said that joke one time before.
Oh my God.
Probably did. Just
I love him. I love it. I know how bad it is.
I thought the answer could be something about kicking a ball with a glass slipper.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Which is not a good idea either.
Nope. So anyway, here we are on the Daily Huddle. Good morning. It is Wednesday on the Daily Huddle, and this is the day that we talk about all things relationships and communication. And we do that because we know that more effective communication elevates relationships, and better relationships makes better business, better families, better communities, and a better life. And today we're going to talk about joy. We're on a track about joy. And today we're going to talk about one of our 6 strategies for joy. But before we do that, I want to ask some questions to get us in the very best headspace. And I see that Mr. Fareed has his microphone off, so I think I'm going to go to you first and see if you can help set us in the right place by telling us this morning, where are you and how are you?
Good morning. I am here at the Daily Huddle, and I am doing good. I am hopeful.
You are hopeful. Fareed is the way he says he is, and he says he is hopeful. I love hope. Hope is great energy for me, so thank you for sharing that. And let me go over to Gio. I haven't asked you questions in a while, so I would love to know, Gio, I would love to know what time it is and what you're grateful for.
Time. The time is now. The time is now. And what am I grateful for? Today, I say I am grateful for, I'm grateful for the brain. I'm grateful for the brain.
Well, if anybody can relate to that, I can, because I know what it looks like not to have a healthy brain. So thank you for that reminder. I love hearing that this morning. And let's just talk about hugs for a minute. I'm going to ask 2 people real quickly. Andrea, who are you going to hug today?
After hugging myself, I'm going to hug about 16 Colombian friends, all girlfriends, and we're going to meet for dinner tonight. So going to have a bunch of hugs around.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much. We were talking about hugs yesterday on the Daily Huddle. So thank you. They need to be 20 seconds, according to Chase's guest.
Oh, it's going to be longer than that.
Awesome. And let's ask Stan real quickly, and then we will get into our topic. Stan, who are you going to hug today?
I'm going to hug my wife. I owe her a couple of hugs. So I'm going to owe her. I'm going to give her a couple of hugs that I owe her today.
I love that.
And a couple of extras. Thank you.
Oh, yay. I love it. I love it. Kathryn, let's get into our topic this morning. I'm going to set the foundation a little bit for us, and then we're going to throw it over to you. I think it was a couple weeks ago. Last week, Kathryn and I were away at an event, but 2 weeks ago, we talked about joy, and I shared that I have 6 really developed through my work, 6 strategies for joy that all take practice and intention. They're not like little magic pills, but with some intention and some practice, they absolutely can elevate our joy, which helps us to not to need little snacks of pleasure all day long, which look like social media, sugar, caffeine, things like that, and help us to experience life in a better way. So one of those strategies, and we're going to start with the one that is really foundational to the rest of those, and that is strengthen. So one of the 6 strategies of joy is strengthen. And when I say strengthen, what we're talking about is our body and our mind. And really, to strengthen our body and mind, we break it down into 3 categories. And this is foundational for the other strategies of joy, which more lean into relationships and communication. But we're going to start with the foundation today. And to strengthen our body and mind, we need three things, which ironically are some of the tenets of the daily huddle. And those are to get better sleep, to have a better diet, and to move our body, to exercise, right? So those three things really help us to strengthen ourselves and be able to lean into the other strategies of joy. So I've got some exciting, I think, and very interesting science and facts about strengthening our diet and what exercise and sleep can do for us. But you know what? Let's make this first about people and not about science. So Kathryn, tell me what comes up for you when you think about making sure that your body is strong enough to face the day with joy.
It's such a good question. And I had an experience this weekend that taps into all of those things. On Sunday, if you were in Atlanta, you know, it was rainy and cold and gross. And it was daylight savings. And I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, not just because of daylight savings, I just didn't. So I was feeling kind of cruddy and the energy in my house was just low. And so I invited a couple of friends over for my son to play with. And they went outside to play soccer, and about 10 minutes later came back in, and I was like, what's up? And they said, well, the dog from next door chased us, and so Finn's scared, so we're not going to go back out. And this has been an issue for a while, that the neighbor lets the dog run, and I love the dog, I like dogs, but one of the kids is really afraid. And so I don't mind the dog running. My issue is when the entitlement, the sense of entitlement, that's when my blood starts to get, mine can run, my dog can just run. It doesn't matter if there's, anybody who feels differently. So Tara, I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with this. I should just let the kids stay inside and not bother. And then I was like, no, this isn't right. The kids need to be outside playing. The rain had stopped. So I went outside and I was like talking myself down, like, please don't say anything you're going to regret. Because I was starting to get really agitated, low sleep, hadn't eaten well, low energy, yuck. And then this, right? And by the way, I don't know if you're like this, Tara. If I'm right, I get and I was, there's something about and being right in a situation like that. And I was like, don't do that. So I just asked him, I saw him and I said, what, was everything okay? Well, he launched into a tirade about how children shouldn't be afraid of dogs. And I slowed down. I know, right? Again, I'm like,
a little bit out of your control here.
I know, it's not my kid, all of it, right? And I just said, okay, wait, his wife has gone through major surgery recently. Something's going on. He's, we're neighbors, we're friendly. It's not. And I thought, so I slowed down and I just said, I understand. I said, and it's my front yard. The kids need to be able to play in it and feel comfortable, whether they're afraid of dogs, that needs to happen. And so he agreed to keep the dog separate in his yard. And Tara, the reason this comes up is because I was so proud of myself that I, confronted him. I often want to shy away from those kinds of exchanges. I don't want to be confrontational. Mm-hmm. And B, probably the more important thing as it relates to strengthening our minds is I stayed in my integrity. I didn't back down or say something like, oh, well, okay, I guess the kids will stay inside. That's not in my integrity. And I didn't lash out and scream and go, are you crazy right now? Who cares if he's afraid, keep your dog in your yard. And I got curious and I did. We ended up talking for a few minutes and I said, well, how are you? How's everything going with the surgery and how are you? And he softened a little bit. And so at the end of it, I thought, wow. Was my day completely transformed by it? No. Did I feel confident and better because I had stayed in my integrity and, was really this is the thing I need to do. Yeah. So when we started talking about strengthen and strengthening the mind, it just got me thinking more about how our integrity and saying the things that we need to say, no matter how difficult, keeps us closer to finding that joy or being that joy. It's not even finding it. It's just connecting to it. Because when we aren't that way, or at least when I'm not in my integrity or do things that say things that I regret or don't say things that I think I need to say, it chips away at my confidence.
Yes. I'm imagining being in that situation, and when it almost felt like your neighbor was looking for a reason to let out his anger and his sadness and his frustration. And I can only imagine his reaction when you didn't give him that platform. You basically became this compassionate neighbor and said, how are you? How's everything going after the surgery? Tell me about how his energy might have shifted when you didn't return. What he was really seeking was, I don't want to say a fight, but a release of all his frustration and anger, and you were the available target.
Honestly, I wish I could say it was like totally transformed and we were like, skipping through the woods after that. But I think he did soften.
Mhm.
And yet he was, in my opinion, still in a righteous place of like, because I actually went back inside and said, I'm gonna go grab the boys, but I left my older son outside, who is afraid of the dog because he sits and the dog is big and comes up to him. And when I came back out, he had said, the neighbor said, I'll keep him over here. But when I came back out, the dog was right on Michael, and Michael was like, and it was like, and again, I just said, just let it go. We're not going to get it. Like, just let it go. I don't know. The answer is it wasn't a magical transformation in his energy. I think it softened. What I know is that we didn't get in a screaming match and we're still neighbors and friends, but I don't know. I mean, where he was is different.
I wouldn't have thought it to have been transformational at all. And the reason is it probably was very strengthening for you to know that you could keep your cool, stay in your integrity, and not join somebody in the energy of anger and conflict.
Right.
It reminds me of a time, a friend of mine, she called me out on my professing that love conquers all and that joy is available to all of us. I had said something and it was a little negative against, I'm trying not to get political here. It was a little negative against very conformist mindset. I'll say that. And she is, she's not in my same political views, but we're friends. You can see me struggling here, not to be political. But the point of the story is powerful and it connects back to what you say. She kind of came at me and she started criticizing me and saying, you profess all this love, yet you're critical of people that don't see things the way you see them. And she was looking for me to come back at her. And I remember this so clearly. I took a deep breath when she told me that. And I said, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for helping me to learn and grow. You're absolutely right. I'm not practicing the person that I profess and desire to be. And thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? It was not transformational for her either in that moment. She was stunned by it. I think she thought, oh, I'm going to let out some of my frustration. And I mean, she is so political and I'm really not. And she was wanting to have that argument and that discussion. And I didn't give her that platform. It didn't transform her. But wow, was it strengthening for me to see how much more we still have the opportunity to grow and learn and not lead with ego. So imagine.
It's so true that what you say is actually that, because I think sometimes, at least for me, and I think it's true for everybody, we can be pulled and swayed by other people's energies, especially when it's strong. Somebody said to me this week that the person with the strongest, I can't remember how she said it, but strongest nervous system, the least reactive is going to win, meaning they can be in that and stay in that versus me. I might start to cower or pull away if there's that really strong energy that I don't feel comfortable. And so to stand and to just be like, this is how I'm going to be today. I'm going to be kind and compassionate and curious. And there isn't anything that you can say that's going to sway me on that. I'll just walk away if I need to. But that, you're right. It's all about that moment was all about me and how I wanted to be. Because when I feel that way and I'm in that integrity, I sleep better at night. I don't double back and think through it again and regret and wish and all of these things impact our joy. I think that is the strengthening of mind to say, and we say it on the daily huddle, I am the way I say I am. I am calm, I'm curious and compassionate, and I'm holding my boundaries. These children are going to come play in this yard, and feel safe.
Oh, I love that. I love it so much. I wish you could just repeat that and drop the mic, because you just said calm, curious, and compassionate. And I think when we remind ourselves to lead with that, we're not going to find ourselves doing or saying something that we regret, that isn't us, that does cause us to feel poorly.
Mhm.
It feels like I take myself into that story that you told about how the day was gray and you hadn't slept well, and still you dug down and did something that took some strength. And I imagine that brought some sunshine into your day.
It did. It did. Well, and you know what else? And it's a segue into the physical strength, is I realized I hadn't worked out. And that also leaves me sluggish, and because of that whole experience, I said, I'm going to get up in the morning, I'm going to work out. I need every bit of fortitude, everything in my toolkit to be working in my favor, and so it's part of it too. It's all these little things, these little ingredients that build us up and have us connect with our joy and with ourselves. And then we feel confident and we keep going. And then all those chemicals get charged up.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. I do want to dig a little bit into the other parts of the strength and strategy before we go on to the next one next week. But Gio has a comment or a question.
Yes, I have a comment on a question that was coming up for me as you guys were sharing. There is this aspect, I love how you're building it, the opportunity to strengthen something within me, not necessarily that leaves me transform at that moment, but it does strengthen something within me to have that assertiveness with my emotions and with the circumstances, right? I wanted to ask you a comment or what your thoughts are on, like sometimes there are occasions when one really wishes I would have said more. I not that I should vomit on that person and tell them how he's or she's gonna die, but like, man, I wish I would have made that person feel bad because that was just right. That was just wrong, and I walk away. Maybe I said the right thing, but it still left me incomplete with, no, I think I should have poked. I think I should have pinched a nerve over there. It was well deserved and I didn't do it, to take the higher road. What are your, maybe you guys are already addressing it, but what are your thoughts on this?
It's a great point. I know, I don't know the actual answer, and maybe there isn't just one, Gio, but for me, what comes up is ego. Is what about me really needs to dig in over there? And trust me, I had that. I was navigating that within myself in that situation, self-managing. But I think I also realized I wasn't going to win that one. And so for me, it's like, but why would I need to do that? And would that make me feel better? And then what you're describing, the going back and saying, I should have. I'm like, isn't that regret? And do I need that? How does that elevate me to have dug deeper and tried to get my point across and make them feel a certain way?
Gio, are you saying that sometimes in certain situations you wish that you would have been stronger and set stronger boundaries? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah. Like,
that's different.
It seems to me that for the most part, I'm good at managing my emotions and managing the conversation, the circumstances in such a way that the emotions are low. I de-escalate. I'm good at de-escalating. Mm-hmm. But every now and then I walk away feeling, I think I'm becoming a little too soft here. Like it's okay to give a punch to kind of balance the situation, because sometimes people punch me. And even though I'm kind of like not happy about it, when I walk away, I can tell for myself, yeah, they have a good point. I'm just kind of a jerk. And sometimes, people's punches really allow me to see my jerkness, I want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds to me like I love what you asked here, because it's like, where is it coming from? If it is to hold strong boundaries, because I almost walked away from that situation and wasn't really like abundantly clear, like these children are going to come out here and play, because that was my boundary. Like, but what's the intention that you're coming from? Is it to be stronger in yourself and be clear, or is it to, you know, just get a dig? You know what I mean? That's for me where I would look.
I think the reason why that landed on my ear so quickly, Gio, is that I totally relate to that. Like, I'm not one to enter into conflict. And a lot of times I walk away saying, why didn't I stand up for myself? Why didn't I say, no, I disagree? And that's another opportunity to strengthen in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
We can say something and stand up for ourselves and still do it with compassion and sensitivity, right? But I sometimes, and that's where I need to strengthen, because sometimes I will fold, or I'll be irrationally generous. My husband says, stop giving all our money away. And I do that with my time too. Like, I just like leap out with my heart. And then sometimes I'm realizing I'm not doing the best job to take care of myself so that I can be the best Tara for my family and my loved ones and my friends and my community. So it's something I love where this conversation has gone. I didn't expect it, but it's like we have two ends of the spectrum. One is hold back, be strong. And the other is be stronger and still do it with compassion and sensitivity.
Yeah.
I want to say one last comment, and I know Keel has his hand up. The other day I was having a similar conversation with Sorrel. And Sorrel, I don't mean to bring you in. If you want to say something or not, it's fine. Where I was really disappointed in a comment a client was coming towards me, and I was sharing with Sorrel. No, I think I'm going to stand up for myself on this one, and I think I may just fire this client. And Sorrel was saying a version of, he was saying way more generously than this, but he was saying, you're kind of too significant, like, you know, relax, right? And I said, no, I don't think I am. I actually think I need to stand up for something here. And I said it a little more generously than that, right? And then he said, well, if you're standing for yourself, can you make that strong comment in a way in which your client can also see that you're standing for them too?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just for you, you're also standing for them. And that really gave me an opening, like, okay, I'm going to be strong, but in a way that that person also sees that I'm being strong for them too. And we're both growing from this one. I never saw that before. And this conversation is bringing that up for me. This is a new neural pattern for me. I'm usually the de-escalate kind of guy.
That's awesome, Gio.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Keel, yes. Did I say your name right? Is it Keel?
Good morning, everyone. This is my first time joining. It's actually Kyle. My mother.
Kyle. Got it. Thank you for sharing.
Very creative. No worries. It's been happening since grade school, so I'm used to it.
Okay. Welcome, Kyle.
Yeah, it was kind of touched on, and Tara, you were really beginning to find the point that I was kind of going to allude to, that there is something to be said for positive assertion, because my personal view is that we all have an inner child and an inner adult that we need to protect, right? And sometimes we can stand up for other people much better than we stand up for ourselves. And it doesn't mean go Mike Tyson on someone, of course, right? But it does mean that you positively assert for you. And sometimes that can be an inspiration for the person you're directly communicating to, or for others around, that there is another angle and perspective that is useful to you. Because everything generates with you, from you, as you commune with other people, right? So if we don't take care of us, the person, the you, then it can be challenging to generate that energy, have it emanate to other folks. So Gio, I think listen to your inner self, and I don't know if it was Tara or Kathryn who mentioned ego, but if it's not ego in a self-serving sense, and you can say, wow, someone just kind of really presented themselves in an ill fashion toward me. And then I need to protect that little Geo and the adult Geo at the same time. And there is a way you can do it in a positive fashion. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kyle. I love that. I love the way that you said that positive assertion. It's a different, even just the different wording, the language. It's like, oh, that's right. It's not being aggressive and I got to get this. It's like, just, yeah, I'm positively asserting myself. I'm advocating for myself. I'm standing in my boundary. And so I love that perspective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chase, looks like Chase has his hand up.
Oh, grand day, everyone. Oh my God, this is such a crazy topic. Whew, so much to say. So what I wanted to say was that just a couple little points. Number one, we're talking about standing up for ourselves. Well, the sentence alone says what's going on. We're standing up for ourselves, which means the person listening to us is like, did you hear me? Are you even listening to me? We're standing for ourselves, right? To get to highlight that we are important and that our opinion matters, right? So when we take the high road, quite literally, when you go higher, what happens? You see more. If you're on the ground in front of your friend's house at the front door, that's all you see. But if you go up the mountain, you see the whole terrain, and then your mind opens up and you say different things. My issue is we don't have the same paradigms. So the person who's always been hit at, punched at, screamed at, then I show up and go, hey, what do you want to do? What can we do to help you? They're like, no, you don't understand. I'm angry. And I'm like, no, but what can I do? How can we get through this? I'm your friend. I'm on your side. Well, you don't know what I've been through. And I'm like, wow. Like some people are sedimented in that area. So no matter what point you want to make, they're there with the whole battle gear on from head to toe. And it's hard to penetrate at times. And I connect with what Gio said about, well, I felt like I had to stand up for myself. Most times, like 80% of the time, I feel like I'm working to convince people that I am on their side. Not, believe me, this is what I want you to do because I do it. No, let's be open. Let's talk about it. Let's get something out in the open where we can create a new path. And if you're damaged internally, you can't hear that. And you look like an alien to that person. You feel like an alien because they just want you to know they're hurting, or they want you to know they're just concentrate on me, and then we'll go forward. Mm-hmm. And that takes some compassion and that takes some listening. And you can either choose to be calm and learn, or you can choose to be right and leave with battle scars.
Mm. Yeah, that's very well said, Chase. Very well said. Thank you. Thank you. It's
you said something that kind of struck me. And you said, if we are damaged on the inside, we won't hear them. And you know what? I think this brings us kind of back to why we have the daily huddle, and it's to grow, because aren't we all damaged on the inside? I know I am.
true.
But here we are growing together to respond differently to what life throws at us. So I just love you guys. I mean, this conversation has taught me a lot. So thank you all for chiming in and listening and learning and being open to grow and learn from each other.
Yeah, I agree, Tara. And thank you, everybody. I mean, I love when people come on and share and be vulnerable, because it invites me to do the same. And, it takes us to our growing edge. So thank you all. We're going to close today with our 7 tenets. Before we do, Tara, give us just one quick soundbite about this. Give us a bottom line.
Well, you know what? I just love where we've taken it. So I've always looked at strengthen as that totally physical foundation of joy. And we've taken it to how do we strengthen our minds and shown ourselves that can bring us joy. And I think we have 2 lessons from strengthening our minds, and it's in our response. Mm-hmm. When it's time to stand firm, we do it with compassion and curiosity for the other person. And when it's also time to maybe step down, it also takes strength. And so to learn to navigate that, to be our very best selves, absolutely can elevate our joy.
Love it. I heard curiosity and compassion and courage. And so today we'll end with our 7 tenets, and we'll start with love, because when we come from a place of love, these things get a lot easier. Curiosity and compassion, and laugh out loud, because that will help you stress less. And eat plants. Eat mostly plants. That will help your body to feel good inside and allow you to get that sleep, those 7 hours that will help reduce your stress. And give of your compassion, of your love, of your care, of your time, and be sure to give to yourself as well. Self-care is one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves. And last but not least, move that body, get your exercise, strengthen yourself physically. We will see you all next time on the Daily Huddle. Thank you all so much. Love you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, ladies. This was
Thank
great.
you, Daily Huddle family. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Andrea.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks for joining us, Kyle. Thanks,
You're
everybody.
welcome. My pleasure.